Welcome to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast series. Here we talk about all things franchising. What is it all about? Is it for you? How do you find the best one to own? And so much more. Now your host, Tim Parmeter.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the 111th episode of this little thing we call the Franchising 101 podcast. I'm your host, Tim Parmeter, also the founder and CEO of a little company called FranCoach. So thanks for tuning in. A few episodes ago, maybe a month or two ago, I had kind of made a comment at the end as we were wrapping up that if our amazing loyal listeners, if you had anything that you wanted to learn a little bit more about, maybe a topic that we hadn't discussed, we're 111 in. So I need all the help I can get thinking up some new ideas to send them in. And amazingly, you guys really did. And some of them were good. Some of them were asking to please not have video anymore, but that was just my mom or my 9-year-old saying he wants on the show again. That's probably not happening anytime soon, but there were a few good ones. One of which we're going to talk about today, which is what is the number one reason why people look at franchises and end up becoming a franchise owner. That's what we're going to talk about today. So as I say that, what's your guess? What do you think that might be? Go ahead and shout it out and shout it out wherever you are. But give that a little thought. What is the number one reason, the most commonly heard reason why people start talking to us and then end up becoming a franchise owner? Before I tell you the answer, let me give you a little refresher on FranCoach. In case you forgot. So FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals like yourself who are interested in becoming franchise owners. We are partnered with well over 600 franchises now, spanning nearly 75 plus categories and industries and niches along the way. Our goal at FranCoach is to help our clients find the absolute best franchise for them to own. And our goal of the Franchising 101 podcast is to help educate people on all aspects of franchise ownership. Dare I say, what is the number one most common thing? So what was your guess? I'm going to say a few of you probably shouted out something to do with money. Decent guess, but buzzer sound, wrong answer. The number one thing is, and I can sum it up in one word and then we'll dig into it. It's the word control. Now, does that mean that you are a control freak? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a control freak, but it is a control over so many and really all aspects of somebody's life. We'll hear things like control over their schedule, their time, their flexibility, their freedom, their lifestyle. All of those things that are becoming more and more important for people. For those that have had to go back into an office, not dealing with the traffic, the commute, all of those things, missing out on anything with their kids or their lives, whatever that might be. And to each person is a little bit different, but all of these things that we're going to talk about that where control can come in. I can kind of speak to as a business owner and what got me started in this as well, but I having the flexibility to not really have my calendar open until 8:30 this morning because I had to take my kid to school, or days when I have to pick him up and I'm going to pick him up at school at 2:16, not 2:15, not 2:17, 2:16, whatever that might be to people. I'm married, for crying out loud, to a woman that lives in a different state as me. She would say I live in a different state as her, semantics, right? But to have the control over our time, our lives, our flexibility, our schedule to actually kind of make that work. But more than anything, that kind of that overall control of the lifestyle. What are some of the things that fall under control? We hear this a ton, that I am working my ass off for somebody else, making a decent money, whatever we're making, working in the corporate world, but we're not making as much as the person in charge of the whole company, right? So if I'm going to work my tail off, then I want to be able to reap the rewards. And yes, some of that reaping of the rewards is the flexibility and freedom to really control your time with this, but also how you might grow things within your business. Some of the happiest franchise owners in any franchise, they are not the top performers. And that may seem kind of counterintuitive a little bit, right? Well, geez, if they're not the top performers, why are they the happiest people? Control. They are working the amount of time that they want to work, and they're making the amount of money that they are comfortable with, right? And so when you get to that point of kind of that your status quo, so to speak, as a franchise owner, you're good. You can't do that in the corporate world. We had a whole episode just on what that ceiling and floor looks like financially. That's a key thing. The flip side is, what is your growth potential? In the corporate world, yes, you can work hard, but there's so many other factors, and there's only so high up that ladder you're going to go. As a franchise owner, you are in control of the growth. Obviously, your work and dedication to the business is going to make that initial single unit grow and become prosperous and become profitable for you. But where can you go from there? Well, you can have multiple units. Does that mean multiple locations of a retail franchise? Possibly. Does that mean multiple locations of a non-retail franchise? Absolutely. Could it be adding additional products and services into a brand, right? You can go from a single unit to two to three to own an entire city, state, region, whatever that might be. All of those things are possible, and you're in control of it, not somebody else. You want to go crazy, and I love talking about scalability things, but multiple brands. You can continue to grow. You can't really have two full-time jobs, or I mean, I guess you maybe could, but it'd be pretty hard to pull off. Like, I'm going to be vice president of sales in two separate companies. Probably not. Can I be owner of two separate businesses? Absolutely. Can I grow them accordingly as I want? Yes, because I am in control of it. Those type of things are key with this. But that's not all. What else can we look at control-wise? Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more. We talk a lot about what I call the get out of bed test. So what are you doing every day? Do you truly control that when you're working for somebody else? To a point, maybe, right? But not fully. Is that personally? Is that me controlling the fact I get to take my son to school every day? Yeah, that is. Does it mean that I can hop on a plane tomorrow to fly to go see my wife? Yep, sure does. Does it mean that I have control professionally over what's going on in our business? Is it creating a podcast topic? Is it creating our different advertising partnerships? Is it any of the process that we go through with our team within FranCoach and our clients? All of those things, I am in control of that, right? And then the people, right? So again, a lot of people that we work, a lot of our clients come into this thinking industry is hugely important. I haven't said the word industry until now because yes, you will have ultimate control over what industry you go into, but it is such a minimal importance of what this looks like. But what are you doing every day? We talk that personal and professional. But the people you're surrounded by every day as an employee, you may have a little control over that, but as a business owner, you have complete control over that. What's your staff look like? Well, guess who's in charge of that? That would be you, the customers, right? And part of our process with you determining what that ideal fit is understanding what kind of customer base you want, how we find them. And then in the community, what are those core values of the business? How important is that to you? What kind of difference do you want to make locally, regionally with your business, and be able to kind of, again, have those core values? All of those things you control. And then lastly, it's one of the things I think gets forgotten a little bit in franchise ownership is the exit strategy. Now, does it seem a little odd at times to be ready to be all excited to start a new business while thinking about what an exit strategy is? Maybe if we think about it in the normal sense of the rest of our lives, okay, I'm going to start my new job today. Hey there, boss. What's my exit strategy? Well, it might be right then by asking asking that question. Hey, I'm going to get married. What's my exit strategy? Again, right? Maybe we get a prenup, right? With the exit strategy with the business is really what I think maybe one of the biggest separators in this. Yes, it's down the road, but again, translate this to the corporate world. You got a job, you work a job, you get paid until you don't. And when you leave that job, whether it's your choice or theirs, what happens? The money's gone. The money train is gone. You don't get to sell that VP position to the next person that comes in, right? With your business, you do get to sell that to the next person that comes in to take that over. You also could pass that on to your family. The legacy potential of this is huge, and there's countless stories of where you've got multiple generations that have worked into that family business. Again, maybe if you own the company, you can legacy that VP position and get legacy to your 23-year-old because he's your kid, right? It can with the business. So that overall control. And so what I would kind of ask people is, how much control do you have, right? When you got up this morning, how much overall control did you have in your day, right? Now, if you're listening on Saturday, maybe a little bit more. But if you're listening during the week, how much did you have, right? And again, if you've had any level of success in the corporate world, you have some, but do you have complete? And if not, do you want it? Are there things that you're missing in your life? Time, freedom, flexibility, those type of things. Are you missing those? Do you wish you had more control over that? Life's too freaking short, people, to not have that when it is readily available for you. Yes, the money comes, right? And really, I think I really wish I had some way to kind of poll everybody that's listened to see what you thought the word was going to be. And I would bet a lot of money that the majority of the responses or thoughts was money related, right? Is money included in here? Yes, it is. Is it the driver? It just really is never, ever, ever the absolute number one driver for this. Will the money come? And will, in almost every case, will the money be greater than what it is when you're working for somebody else? Yes. It's why the 1%, the top 1% of all earners in the United States, the vast majority of them are not employees. So again, yes, the money comes, but it's got to be that really overall control. Then now, if you're hearing all that and you're like, man, that sounds great. I don't have enough control. I wish I had more flexibility and freedom. I wish I had the control over my success and my growth. I'd love to be able to have something that could maybe scale, grow, pass on to family, whatever. If you're hearing all those things and you're going, yeah, dude, that all sounds great. How do I figure out which franchise to own? Lucky for you, that's what we do. And again, our whole process at FranCoach, and when we're working with folks, is to really, and there are a few things that we'll talk about throughout the process. And I might have a few cheesy analogies, but we'll really talk about, we're going to create like what you want to be when you grow up. What's that dream scenario? And in fact, my wife will go off on this, that there are people out there who talk about, oh, it's the American dream to own a business. Probably not, right? The dream is controlling your life and what you're doing with it. And so we're going to figure that out. And don't worry that you don't know all of those things. Nobody does. That's our job to help kind of paint that picture. And then because we are a partner with well over 600 franchises, whatever that picture ends up being, however we kind of paint that, finding the best thing for you is easy, right? It's just a matter of you're nodding up and down on, I wish I had more control. I'd love to figure that out. Then give us a call. We just had an episode a couple of weeks ago with one of our former clients who became a franchise owner, and he made a great comment. I felt like I promise it wasn't scripted, but I'm like, what would you tell somebody that is listening to this that hasn't taken that first step? Take a listen to what he said.
Don't wait. If you say you're listening to the podcast and you're a few episodes in and things sound good, just contact you. Just reach out, because reaching out to it wasn't okay, now you're locked in and we're going to be doing all these things. It was still both you, Tim, and I having conversations of, is this even right? And that is, I felt that was very sincere through the process of early on, I should say, of we're going to decide if this is even the right thing for you to do right now. So I did way too much Googling. So everyone stop Google, just put that down.
Yes.
Don't do that. Yeah. And yeah, if you've listened to some of these episodes and you say, this sounds good, just reach out. Because Tim will be very honest. You'll be very honest, I think, with, hey, this is not the right time, but here's when the right time is, versus, okay, I think we have the right things in place. Let's go do this.
Reach out, folks. There's never any fee for our service. FranCoach.net is our main page. Franchising 101 podcast, Franchising 101 podcast.net. It's our franchise site. Either one gets to us. Reach out. Let's get that first call set up. Let's help you learn a little bit more and see if now is the time to help you create your better tomorrow and have control over your life. That's it for today. Thank you guys all so much for continually tuning in and reaching out to us for comments. And again, let's help you gain control over your life personally and professionally. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We look forward to talking with you again real soon.
Thanks for listening to FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast, where our ultimate goal is to help educate you on all things franchising so you can create your better tomorrow.